Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So, Manchester United have announced the signing of Facundo Pellistri. He has signed a 5-year contract with the football club with an option of a further year. We have paid around 10 million euros for him. That equates to around 9.1 million in pounds sterling. We've got him from Club Atletico Penaril. He is only at the age of 18. He made around 37 appearances for Club Atletico Penaril. Well, 37 senior appearances. He currently played under Diego Forlan, who was obviously a former Manchester United player. That is the fifth signing now that Manchester United have made. Now, I want to delve into some news on Ahmad Triori. So, Manchester United have agreed a deal to sign Ahmad Triori from Atlanta. He will be joining the football club in January. We are paying around 37.2 million in total. So we're paying 19 million up front with around 18.1 million in add-ons. The actual fee was around 27.5 million at the first, but it risen up with the agent fees. Ahmad Triori is only the age of 18 and he's predominantly a right winner. Don't forget, he was the first player born in 2002 to score in the Serie A. That was last year. But this deal has been agreed subject to personal terms, passing a medical and work permit. Ahmad Triori was close to joining Parma on loan until January at least, but his move to Parma did not materialise. So this is more positive news from a Manchester United perspective. And it's good, that we're getting more young players into the team. Now, Edinson Cavani is Manchester United's new number 7. We have got Edinson Cavani on a free transfer. He's signed a 1-year contract with the football club with an option of a further year. So it's obviously 2 years. That keeps Edinson Cavani at the club until 2022. Edinson Cavani did leave PSG earlier on in the summer. He endured 7 seasons with PSG. He scored 200 goals in 301 games in all competitions. Scored 50 goals in 116 internationals for Uruguay. When PSG did get him in 2013, they paid 64 million euros for him from Napoli. Edinson Cavani will be the next Zlatan Ibrahimovic. My only element of concern about him is, reflecting on his injury records. And he is in his 30s. But, I'm glad that he's been given number 7 because we've had number 7 vacant for a long time, don't forget. We've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. We obviously had Cristiano Ronaldo in the number 7. We had, Eric Cantona number 7, David Beckham in number 7, George Best in number 7. We had the likes of Depay in the number 7, Sanchez in the number 7. Obviously, Depay and Sanchez, weren't that good. We had Michael Owen as our number 7 at one point. But now, with Cavani in, it will provide more competition for Anthony Martial, won't it? So that's the breaking news on that. You obviously know the news on Alex Telles. Manchester United have signed him. Obviously now he's going to be our first choice left back. Chris Smalling, he's left the football club. He has joined Roma on a 3-year deal. Roma have paid around €15 million for him. That equates to around £13.6 million in pounds sterling. But I think the fee rises up to around 18.1 million with add-ons included. Farewell to Chris Smalling. Smalling did enjoy a good 10 years at Manchester United. Made 323 appearances for the club in all competitions. So he was with us since the Ferguson era. Don't forget, last season he was out on loan with Roma. Yeah. But obviously, now the transfer window is shut. And, we did the vast majority of our business on deadline day, didn't we? But, yeah. But let's see, how they do. I presume that Edison Cavani will be making his debut for the club against Newcastle after the international break. So too will Alex Telles. But at least, we have made more signings. I still think that Manchester United do need a centre-half in. We need someone that can go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. But Solskjaer has spent a good £200 million now since he became Manchester United manager. We have seen a lot of players leave under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. We've seen quite a few players leave in the summer transfer window. Obviously, Sanchez left the club. We loaned to Heath Chon out. Dylan Levitt went out on loan. Andres Pereira, he went out on loan to Lazio. Diego Dalot, he went out on loan to AC Milan. Obviously, we've seen other players leave as well. Herrera left the club last summer. Fellaini left the club in January 2019. Lukaku left last summer. So too did Matteo Darmian. Valencia left the club. Ashley Young left the club. But there's still deadwood at Manchester United. Obviously, we're still looking to get rid of Marcus Rojo. Still looking to get rid of Phil Jones. There's obviously been rumours of Jesse Lingard leaving the club. Sergio Romero, it said he's open to leaving the club because Sergio Romero, he's now our third choice goalkeeper. But for the vast majority of that summer transfer window, departures were proving to be difficult, and was finding it very difficult to make signings for the vast majority of the summer transfer window until deadline day came. But yeah, that's 5 signings we made in that summer transfer window. In January, we brought 2 players in, and last summer, we brought 3 players in. So Solskjaer's brought some good players into Manchester United, to be fair. Obviously, this is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season as Manchester United manager. And he knows that he's got to exceed his expectations if he is, to keep his job at Manchester United. And I said to you before the start of the season, what will represent a good season for Manchester United, and that's finishing in the top 4 or maybe in the top 2 or top 3. And winning a trophy. I think it's very imperative that Manchester United do win a trophy, because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. And let's be honest, we haven't had a good start to this season. We've already lost 2 of our opening 3 league games, and it's the first time we've lost our 2 league games at home in 34 years. We lost our opening game against Crystal Palace by 3-1. That was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995. Then obviously we recently lost to Tottenham by 6-1. Our worst defeat under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. And it's our worst defeat since Alex Ferguson's retirement. And Solskjaer made an admission after that game recently and said, it's his worst day in his managerial career. And to be honest, we was lucky to beat Brighton in the league game. We're beating them by 3-2. But in reality, it should have ended 2-2. So now, hopefully, with us making more signings, it can give Manchester United more confidence, can't it? But Solskjaer knows that he's under pressure at the football club. And, there's a lot of Manchester United fans that are demanding him out of the club. Because, let's be honest, Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree. That's one of the element of concerns about him. He's gained managerial experience, reflecting how long he's been at Manchester United. He's been with us now almost 2 years. Before he was with us, he was at Mould. And before then, he was at Cardiff. But if we do decide to sack Solskjaer, who would come in to replace him? And don't get me wrong, like I've mentioned before, we have had some good periods under Ole. We don't forget we went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions. We also went on a 14-game unbeaten run in the Premier League. And we did well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But not all of the blame stems from Solskjaer because of the inconsistency. Definitely, there's players that have got to take responsibility. Because there's a lot of players that have been underperforming at Manchester United, and there's players at the club that are good enough to represent the football club. Like I said to you before the start of this season, there's still players that have got to improve at Manchester United. We have got some good players, don't get me wrong. But, David De Gea, I don't think he's no longer good enough for us. De Gea in his last 3 games has conceded 11 goals. And De Gea is going to remain our number 1 this season. But I think Solskjaer should put Dean Henderson as number 1 because I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number 1 goalkeeper. Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him now. In Dean Henderson's last 2 games, he hasn't conceded 1 goal. So he's kept 2 clean sheets. This season, though, is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United. He has made over 400 appearances for the club in all competitions. 300 odd of those appearances have come in the Premier League. De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances, but probably had around 7 good years or so, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. We paid, was it around 18 odd million pounds for De Gea from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. When De Gea does leave Manchester United, he will go back to Spain. I think, De Gea could leave the football club next summer. Don't forget, last September, De Gea signed a 4-year deal with Man United worth £375,000 a week. Wan-Bissaka, I think he will stay at Manchester United, but he's had a poor start to this season. He's really lacking that attacking intent, is Wan-Bissaka, and he's always lacked it. In a lot of his games, his defensive contribution's always been very, very good. He's obviously our first choice right back. This season is Wan-Bissaka's 2nd season at Manchester United. Last season was his 1st season at the club. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. Victor Lindelof, I don't think he's good enough to represent Manchester United. I think he could be possibly moved on at some point next year. I think Victor Lindelof's going to find game time quite difficult now because Solskjaer's confirmed that Bay will play regularly this season, so he will play ahead of Victor Lindelof. Victor Lindelof's enjoyed a good 3 years or so now at Manchester United. He's had some good games, but he's also had a lot of bad games. We got Victor Lindelof from Benfica back in 2017 for £30 million. Eric Bay, I think we'll keep him for at least this season. Like I said, I think he's a better centre-half than Victor Lindelof. My only element of concern about Eric Bay is that he is injury-prone, so he's just got to improve his fitness. Harry Maguire, I've got strong reservations about him now. Is he the right player? Is he the right centre-half for Manchester United? I'm beginning to wonder because Harry Maguire has had a poor start to this season. Also had some bad games last season. So obviously Solskjaer's already made his decision on Maguire. He's going to remain Manchester United captain this season. But I think, we should give the captaincy to someone else. Maybe we should give it to Bruno Fernandez. We definitely overpaid for Maguire. Got him in a deal worth 80 million from Leicester last summer. So he's the second most expensive sign at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment. Luke Shaw. He will keep Luke Shaw at Manchester United, despite, Telles coming in. Because Luke Shaw's no longer now our first choice left back, is he? Probably will be our backup or something like that. I wonder now what's going to be happening with Brandon Williams as well now that Telles has come in. Brandon Williams can actually play as a right back because he's actually predominantly right-footed. But Luke Shaw, I still think he's a very, very good left back. He hasn't had a good start to this season, but he's got to improve his fitness because he's injury prone. Not so long ago, Luke Shaw recovered from an ankle injury. Luke Shaw's enjoyed a good 6 years or so at Man United. Paid £30 million in from Southampton back in 2014. Fred. I think he could be possibly moved on at some point next year. A few weeks ago, there was rumours of Fred possibly leaving. Galatasaray and Roma were interested in him. But Fred came out and said that he wants to stay at Manchester United. And he wants to be an essential player for the club and win trophies for us. I think there's aspects of his game that have improved. He's better under Solskjaer than he was under Mourinho, but he's still had some poor games. He hasn't had a good start to this season, let's be honest. I think he's looked exposed at times in that midfield. He's given the ball away far too many times. Fred's been at the club now a couple of years. We did get him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. We paid £52 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. Scott McTominay, again, he hasn't had a good start to this season, but I think Manchester United will keep him. I think it confirmed before this season started that he's actually our first choice holding midfielder. He had good games last season, but don't forget last season he was out with that ankle injury. McTominay did score in the cup game against Brighton, but he weren't too good in that game. McTominay, he's a player that seems to be too safe with the possession. Sometimes his positioning is quite poor. Not so long ago, McTominay signed a 5-year deal with the club. Nemanja Matic, again, he hasn't had a great start to this season. I thought towards the end of last season, though, a lot of aspects of his game improved. He'll stay at Manchester United for at least this season. Matic is now in his 30s, so he's aging up. Not so long ago, signed a 3-year deal with Manchester United. I think we paid around, was it £40 million for Matic from Chelsea back in 2017. Paul Pogba. Now, he could possibly leave the club in January. Also, could, if he don't leave in January, could leave next summer, could Paul Pogba. Unless, we get him a new long-term contract. But let's be honest, Paul Pogba hasn't had a good start all to this season. Don't get him wrong, he was good towards the end of last season because his combination with Bruno Fernandez was very, very good. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. This season's his 5th season at the club since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. And for the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on Pogba because he was out with that ankle injury, wasn't he? But he sustained a few injuries as a Man United player. Now, our good players are obviously, Bruno Fernandez. He's made a fantastic impact since he came to Manchester United. Bruno Fernandez has been at the club now for almost a year, hasn't he? Because we got him back in January from Sporting Lisbon. Didn't we get him in a deal worth £55 million? Last season, Bruno Fernandez won some Matt Busby Player of the Season. He must have won Premier League Player of the Month around 3 times, reflecting on his good run of performances. And scored a good 15 goals for us in all competitions since his arrival. I know a lot of them goals have come from the penalty spot. Donnie Van Der Beek, he's one of the good players we've got. Obviously, brought him in earlier on in the window. I think we got Donnie Van Der Beek, was it, for £40 million, something like that. He signed a 5-year contract with a football club. And there's also an option of a further year. Currently wears that number 34 shirt, does Van Der Beek. And there's question marks why Solskjaer's not started him yet. So he has not yet made his full Premier League debut. But he's the foreseeable future for the club. He really, really is. To be honest with you, there's some Manchester United fans that think Donnie Van Der Beek, Pogba and Fernandez can't play in the same as a midfield three because of the similarities they've obviously got. And plus we've got Matic, McTominay and Fred. They're the other midfielders we've got. So we've got a lot of midfielders in the team, to be honest with you. Marcus Rashford, he's one of the good players we've got. He hasn't had a bad start to this season from my own perception. Rashford's been at Manchester United now around 15 years. Because he's 22 now and he's been with us since the age of 7. And he's been in our senior squad since 2016 as Rashford. Don't forget he had that back injury last season when he was out for a few months, was it? He had an ankle injury not so long ago. But he does now play on that left-hand side. Mason Greenwood, he's one of the good players we've got. Don't forget Mason Greenwood was recently withdrawn from Gareth Southgate's England squad. Solskjaer reacted to this decision and he's backed Gareth Southgate's decision on it. We had a few issues with Mason Greenwood before the start of our season, didn't we? He currently is our number 11. He's the 4th Manchester United player to wear the number 11. And Martial, he's another one of the good players. He hasn't had a great start to this season, but I thought last season Anthony Martial was absolutely exceptional for us. I thought he was also very, very good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We paid around £36 million for Anthony Martial from Monaco back in 2015. He currently wears the number 9. He's very effective in that central position now. But for the vast majority of his career at Man United, he's obviously played out wide. Juan Mata, I think, is a good player. And I think he should get more chances this season, Juan Mata. He's played some games already this season, obviously, in the cup games, Did very, very well against Luton, scored. Did very well against Brighton in the cup, scored. That goal against Brighton in the cup was his 50th goal for Manchester United. Juan Mata's had a very, very good career with us. He's enjoyed a good 6 years or so now at the club. Paid just under £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2014. So, there you go. And I think a lot of the blame stems from our board. And, there's been a lot of Manchester United fans demanding the board out of the club. We've been very critical of Woodward and the Glazers for several years. Obviously, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players. I think the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't been backed enough. And I think for the vast majority of that summer transfer window, Solskjaer wasn't backed enough. Let's be honest, because he publicly admitted that Manchester United needed to spend money. Woodward's been at Manchester United around 8 years. The Glazers have been with us around 15 years. Matt Judge, you can say he's accountable for some of the failure of transfers. Matt Judge has been at the club since, 2012. So he's been with us around 7 years. And he's been a transfer negotiator at Manchester United since 2016. We did miss out on a lot of targets though during the course of the summer transfer window. We obviously missed out on Sergio Reguilon, went to Tottenham. Missed out on Bale, he went back to Tottenham. Grealish, he signed a 5-year deal with Villa. Back in January, we missed out on Haaland. We also missed out on Jude Bellingham. We missed out on Jadon Sancho. He was another player we missed out on. Obviously, didn't get Ousmane Dembele. Don't forget we inquired about getting Ousmane Dembele on loan. So these quite a lot of players that Manchester United missed out on. Solskjaer, by the way, was recently saying that Manchester United could still get a director of footballing. Well, he was looking to get a director of footballing. We was in the process of trying to get a director of footballing since the Jose Mourinho era. And I did say, it'd be beneficial if we could get one in because that's one of the structural changes that we do need at the football club. And I said if we had to get one in, we need someone with the experience and someone who obviously knows the culture of the club. Obviously. But like I said to you, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. So if we did sack him, would it solve a lot? 3 managers have been sacked since the Ferguson era, and that was Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And obviously in the last 7 years we've only won 3 trophies. That was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League and League Cup under Mourinho. Well, 4 if you want to count the Community Shield. And I just think it's going to be hard for any manager at Manchester United to replicate Ferguson's legacy or to last as long as Sir Alex Ferguson did. We've spent around £1 billion in the last 7 years on players. And we've recruited over 30 odd players since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We've also spent big on players in recent years, like I've already mentioned. 80 million for Harry Maguire, 89 million for Pogba, 75 million for Lukaku, 52 million for Fred, 40 million for Matic. And we've also got players on big contracts at the football club. But like I've said, Solskjaer's brought around, is it 9 or is it 10 senior players in or something like that now? But Solskjaer's still inheriting a lot of players from the Jose Mourinho era. Still a few players from the Van Gaal era he's inheriting. Still 1 player from the Moyes era. And I think there's still 2 players from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. But Solskjaer was saying before this season started that he had a lot of confidence going on into this season from where we left off last season. Because to be fair, last season, Solskjaer did exceed most of his expectations. We obviously got qualification for the Champions League. We finished 3rd and we did progress to 3 semi-finals. I'm hopeful that Man United can win the title again. I still think we are at least 3 years off from winning the Premier League title. Definitely. We haven't marked any title challenge up in the last 7 years, but we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. Yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.